Imagine this. You just took a shower and you put on your PJs after a long, exhausting Friday at work. You get cozy on the couch and open up the takeout box you just ordered, as you're about to watch the next episode of your all-time favorite show. You get a text message from your friend. You think about just ignoring it, but then another one, and another, and another come up on your phone. When you open the messages, you see videos and photos of all your best friends at the bar, clicking drinks, dancing, and having the time of their lives. You fixate on your phone instead of your all-time favorite show, and you think to yourself, damn, I'm really missing out. Hey there, my name is Tori Richardson, and I'm a senior at Assumption University. For my senior seminar class, I'm making a 3-episode podcast series. So, welcome to my podcast, Missing Out, where I'll discuss what it means to miss out on experiences in life. We will travel through 3 main acronyms during this series: FOMO, JOMO, and NOMO. Many of you may want to get deeper into the psychology behind all of our acronyms, but you'll have to wait until episode 3 to find out. Today, I want to talk about FOMO, and the first thing I want to comment on is how I suffer from it. Being 22 years old and in my senior year of college, my FOMO has become one of the many things weighing on me. I have this constant fear to be doing everything, or else I'll miss out on essential parts of my senior year, my last of everything. Most of my life before college, however, I've always had the fear, and for many of my viewers at home, you may relate to this constant dread and fear. But why does this feeling of fear ultimately stick with us? Well, let's look at where it all started before social media. Do any of you guys remember this show? Extra, extra. Or this one? Or this iconic one right here.
Today on TMZ.
These TV shows came out before social media and streaming services became more widespread. You had to literally get to your TV right at 8 p.m. and watch the episode. If you could record it, then great, but beyond that, you really had to be there. Sure, you could count on a potential rerun, but those were mainly during the day when you would be at work or school, so the chance of you seeing the episode was slim to none. Plus, hearing your coworkers or your classmates talk about the episode makes you feel like you're inherently missing out on something you won't be able to experience on your own. Talk about major spoilers, too. The same thing goes for parties, and you would either feel left out or feel like you missed something. But you wouldn't know exactly what it is. Now, we don't have to worry about that because of social media and streaming services, thank God. But now we run into a completely different issue with the introduction of social media especially. Now you actually know what it is. The fear of missing out is so much more prominent nowadays with the introduction and fast-spreading access to social media. From MySpace to Facebook, Instagram to Snapchat, and even TikTok. Those are some of the many ways to share more and more about your life with so many people from around the world. Before mobile phones, it was just word-of-mouth stories from friends after the fact, or the small spoilers of your favorite TV show. By having documentation in real time, we now have a better idea of what we're missing out on. Except, this is just a snapshot. Who knows what that party was exactly like? Maybe it is that video of people partying, but who knows if 10 minutes later, the party got super dead. For those of you who may be experiencing FOMO, the video of that amazing thing still exists. And it shows you that they had fun. And simply put, you just weren't there. Okay, so for some of you who may think,
put down your phone and go outside. Stay off of social media or do your detoxing from technology.
We'll hear more about that in the next episode, but I wanted to give you more context with an analogy. Do you know the movies Inside Out or Inside Out 2? They're super popular Disney movies, and if you haven't, you definitely should. For those of you who don't know, it's a movie about a girl named Riley who is growing up and going through a bunch of changes. We, as the audience, get to see the personification of the emotions in her brain, controlling her everyday life through a control board. In the first movie, we're introduced to joy, fear, sadness, disgust, and anger. In the second movie, as Riley becomes a teenager, a new set of emotions gets introduced. Anu, which is boredom, envy, embarrassment, and anxiety. For those of you who don't experience FOMO, someone going through FOMO might sound a little bit like this. Fear and anxiety are on the control board. Sure, joy tries to sneak through and say, hey, it's okay. You don't have to be at that party because you can enjoy relaxing. You get to sit, eat your food, and watch your show. What's better than that? But really, fear and anxiety won't let go of the control board. They continue to take control. Then, when that person hears all the stories of the big party or the crazy experience they missed, envy slowly creeps over and slowly takes control. For someone experiencing FOMO, it's so difficult to be in tune with those emotions and try to control them because, frankly, emotions control you just as much, if not more, than you trying to control them. One of my best friends on campus has a chronic fear of missing out. Honestly, her FOMO is probably worse than my own. Her name is Allie Smith, and she's a junior at Assumption University. Between the several clubs she is a part of, to be an active member of our community, Allie has felt these similar feelings of FOMO that affect her in her everyday life. I just knew I had to get her on the podcast. So, here's our conversation about FOMO. Alrighty, hey there guys. I'm here with one of my best friends on campus, Allie Smith.
Hi, my name is Allie, as Tori just said. I am a junior here at Assumption. I am currently a double major in criminology and psychology with a concentration in mental health and clinical counseling. I am the vice president of financial affairs and student government. I work at our admissions and at our campus gym, the Plord. I am also a residential assistant and do about 1,000 other things, but I'm not going to bore everyone with all of them.
All right, so I mean, when we talked before this interview, I asked you if you had severe FOMO, and you said yes. And then I asked you about this interview, and you also said that you would want to be interviewed. So first question that I have for you is, why do you identify with having FOMO?
I tend to have to choose between doing a lot of different things, and I always feel like almost anxious picking one because I don't want to miss out on the other thing, and then the entire time I'm at whatever I pick to do, I'm thinking about what I could be missing at the other thing. So that's why I identify with FOMO so much.
Can you give me a specific instance of where you felt severe FOMO?
Instead of a specific instance, I'm going to talk about something that reoccurs every week. My roommates get out of class at a normal time. Let's say they get out of class at 2:30, but then I have to go to work or my internship or something else every single week. And then while I'm there, so let's say I have to go to work at the gym for 3 hours. Then the entire time I'm there, I'm I'm missing my friends so much. They're probably making so many jokes and memories, and then I'm just gonna have to get caught up on the highlights later, and I won't understand how funny it was in the moment and stuff like that. So yeah.
Is it frustrating?
I wouldn't say it's frustrating, more upsetting. It makes me almost sad that I'm not there making the memories with my friends because I have to do other things, but I also enjoy the things that I'm doing as well. So it's a hard balance of it.
And how do you go about balancing your desire to be everywhere and do everything? I mean, you're involved in a lot, and I definitely am one of those people that may ask you, like, hey, can you please do something? And because you don't want to miss out on it, you're like, oh, yes, of course. And I mean, that kind of goes with admissions, because we met through residential life as RAs. And then I asked you if you wanted to be an admissions ambassador. You said yes. And we just got even closer. And I mean, that probably happens to you on the daily. So reiterating that question, how do you go about balancing your desire to be everywhere and do everything?
I like to give myself a little pat on the back and say I schedule myself well. I rely on my Google Calendar and I go about it like by the minute. So if it's Monday and someone texts me about plans on Friday and I look at my calendar and I'm free at whatever time, I immediately will put it in my calendar and block off that time. So I know that I can't pick up a shift if someone asks me to, or I can't make other plans. And it kind of helps me differentiate the time that I have with my friends, because I also color categorize everything. So it helps me like see that although I have work or class all day, I still have that like fun thing at night that I get to do. And if I can't do something, so let's say you were to text me and ask if I could come over and watch a movie on Friday night, but I happen to have duty for residential life, I would say, no, but I'm free Saturday at noon. What if instead of watching a movie, we go and get coffee or something? That's kind of how I balance my life as like an employee and a student, and my life as a student leader, with making sure that I'm also taking time to spend with my friends, because you only get so much time in college, and you only get so much time where you're in such close proximity to your friends where you can just like walk down the road and they're right there.
And has there been any time where there have been multiple things at the same time and you just had to choose one thing? Like there's 3 club events that you really want to go to, but obviously you can't make all 3. So what made you choose that one thing, and how did you feel about choosing that one thing?
A lot of the times it'll come down to having something I have to do over something I want to do. So like, for example, weekend duty. Duty starts at 8 p.m., but if my friends want to go out to the bar or hang out later at night, then I know that I can't. And that's just something that I kind of have to suck it up and deal with, because I signed myself up for this job. Like, I take everything that I do as a job. So I have a job as a student, I have a job at multiple different actual places of employment, and then I have a job as a student leader. And all of those things, unfortunately, have to come first, because I made the commitment to those things, whether that was per a literal contract or a contract in my head. I agreed to being able to show up for those things. So sometimes time with my friends or going to an event or a club activity just has to take the back seat, which is a little upsetting, I will say. Like, when I sit on duty, I look at everyone's like Snapchat stories of everyone like out at the bar or hanging out, and I do get upset and I do feel like overwhelmed by FOMO, because I'm like, ugh, well, if I just asked for this one weekend off, then I also could have been there. But I also know that when I do have weekends off, I am allotting my time to my friends or to doing those extra things, that it's okay if I take the back seat this time.
And do you feel like the social media aspect of it, you know, when you talked about the Snapchat stories that you see of all your friends going out, do you feel like social media affects the way that you experience FOMO?
1,000%. I don't think that I would have such bad FOMO if it wasn't for social media. Because you could text me and ask me to go out or something, and I could say no, and then that's pretty much it. It's like, aw, that sucks that I can't do that in the moment. But then if I see it posted on people's Snapchat stories or on Instagram the next day or something like that, then it's like, ugh, I really should have gone. Like, I really should have just like called out of work or something. I feel like it definitely makes it worse, because there's like not a constant reminder, but it's like that additional little like poke in your side that like you could have been there, but you had to work.
And do you feel like you have done something, like you went out to go do something, like go out and you went to the bar, or you went to a party and you later regretted it because like you just didn't want to be there, or you had a headache and you didn't feel good and you just like forced yourself to go out because of FOMO? What's that story for you?
Honestly, that happens to me a lot, to the point where sometimes I'll just like end up leaving early and just kind of take it as like a loss for the night. For example, a couple weeks ago, I had a little party that I had gone to, and we had gone out to the bar after, and it was for one of my like very best friends, and I wanted to show up to support her and to support the people that planned it. Like, I know a lot of effort went into the party. I wanted to give her a birthday gift. Like, I wanted to do all those things, but I was just not feeling going out that night at all. But I just like kind of sucked it up, and I was like, well, like, she is a senior. This is like the last time I'm going to be able to do this with her, that I know of, at least in a situation like this at college and stuff. So like, I should just suck it up and go. And then I got to the bar and I was like, I just don't want to be here. My head is pounding. I don't really feel good. This is just not what I want to do. And I know when I get like that, I not take it out on the people around me, but my energy is definitely different than everyone else's. And I didn't want to take away from what should be a good night for the birthday girl by like being in my own head. So I just like excused myself and left. And I kind of do that quite a bit if I know that I can't show up for my friends or something in the right way, because sometimes I just get very exhausted. Like, come Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of the week, I'm downright exhausted. So trying to do things, those like extra little things, sometimes don't come to fruition, which is kind of upsetting. But there are other times that I end up going, and the entire time I'm like, I don't want to go. Like last night, you and I went to the pub. All day I was like, I'm so tired. Like, I don't think this is a great idea for me to do. My head hurts, my stomach hurts, is not the week of the new paycheck. So I was like, maybe this isn't a good thing. I went and I had the best time. It was like exactly what I needed to like get my groove back this week, because this week has just been dragging so much.
Yeah, because I was there that night, for the viewers at home, I was there that night for our friend's birthday. And yeah, I could like definitely tell. And honestly, I can really relate to that too, as someone who has FOMO, especially when it's, you're not feeling the best and you just kind of want to.
Yeah. I also, two of my other best friends are my roommates, and they're both underage, so they can't go out with me or anything. So sometimes we've recently, in the winter time, have been having little movie nights at home on like Friday and Saturday nights, because they can't go out, and I don't really want to go out because it's cold. Now it's getting warmer, but when it was cold. And it was one of those nights where I was like, I just wish I could go home, like take a shower, make a bowl of popcorn, and like just vibe out with my roommates and like just watch a movie and do absolutely nothing and like not use my brain for 5 seconds. And that is exactly what I did.
Yeah. Do you feel like with FOMO, you tend to get really in your head about things, like missing out on things or feeling almost like guilty for it?
Absolutely, I do. Like, all the time. And I hate Monday me. I am the best version of myself on Mondays. I wake up excited for the week, and I say yes to absolutely everything. And then come later in the week, I just don't want to do any of it. And I'm in my head about it because I don't want to, I don't want to miss out on new experiences for myself, but I also don't want my friends to get upset that I'm not showing up because I overschedule myself. And all of my friends know that because they know how much I do and know how much I run around. My roommates last night actually told me we all share a Life 360 circle for the viewers at home. And they told me that they will watch my little Life 360 dot just like jump all over campus, and then like jump to my internship and jump to my grandmother's house and jump home and then jump back. And they're like, we have no idea when you eat or when you sleep. Like, I just don't get it.
Mm-hmm. I think another thing too is just making sure that the people that are around you are really uplifting you in certain ways. I know for me, what I find really tough is when friends say to me, oh my gosh, like, I wish you were here, like, you should have been here, or, oh, you just wouldn't get it, you weren't there. And it's a consistency, I think, especially after a lot of my friends turned 21. I was the first one to turn 21, so a lot of my friends really just couldn't go out with me anywhere that I went. But once a lot of my best friends, like you, and some of my other friends started turning 21, and I can't go out because I'm on duty, and I'm on duty from 8 p.m. to 2 in the morning or until we get called off. It becomes really difficult when, like, my roommates come back and they're talking about the fun night that they had, and, you know, I just wasn't there.
Yeah.
I'm sitting down on the couch with my walkie-talkie.
Yeah. I know that feeling all too well.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I think especially when we were both on the same residential life staff last year. We both lived in Worcester Hall, which is a triple style dorm on our campus, and we knew that feeling a little too well. Especially when we would both be on duty on the same night, and our birthday girl that we've been talking about would come back, or, you know, some other person on our staff came back after a good night out, or, you know, something really crazy happened to them, or a crazy thing happened to them at dinner, you know, so.
Yeah, for sure. But we also made our own memories.
We
and
did.
That's why we're here today.
That is why we're here today. Honestly, like, if it wasn't for res life and residential life, we would not have met each other. Because you were a commuter before, too.
Yep. Before becoming an RA, I was a commuter my first year of college.
Did you feel like you were missing out when you were a commuter?
Absolutely. Like, absolutely. It was the worst feeling. I was paying so much in tuition. Not so much, but I was paying the student activity fee and going to nothing. And it felt like not only a waste of money, but it felt like this was just something that I just, like, had to do during my day. And it wasn't fun. Like, and it's not like that for every commuter. I lived an hour away. So I was taking 2 hours a day in my car, driving back and forth. And it was the middle of winter and it was snowing. And it was like, is this even worth it? Like, is it even worth it? So I found a way to make it worth it, which is becoming an RA so I could live on campus.
And as someone who experiences FOMO, I get it. But if you are having a conversation with someone who doesn't have FOMO and, like, they say stuff to you like, oh, Allie, just don't even worry about it. Like, you're okay. You don't have to do X, Y, Z, this, that, and the third. Does that infuriate you in some way that they just aren't understanding how you feel? And what would you want to say to them about how FOMO makes you feel?
It does kind of infuriate me. One of my roommates, I don't think really has FOMO. And it sometimes will infuriate me because they're like, why do you do so much? Like, why are you always gone? Why can't you just, like, hang out and, like, chillax for 5 seconds? And I'm like, I don't know. I have this, like, constant need to say yes to people and not turn anything down. But they don't get it because they don't have FOMO. They don't understand that I want to put everyone else, like, almost before myself. Even though I still want to do all of these things that I'm being asked to do, I'm not thinking about how it's going to affect me the day of, and again, affect my energy level. So they don't really understand that I come home exhausted every day because I said yes to things a month ago that suddenly now I actually have to do, because they would just be like, well, just, like, don't go. Like, just, like, call out. And I'm like, I can't do that. I have, like, a responsibility. I already said yes. They just don't get it.
And do you wish that you were more of a no person?
Yes. Sometimes, yes. Don't get me wrong, I love all of the things that I do. Like, I truly, really do. I am excited about all of the things that I'm doing. But sometimes I wish I could just say no to certain things, even if it's going to cost me a little something. So, like, saying no to an extra shift, even though I'm not going to get that extra $30 in my paycheck, or saying no to hanging out with someone so that I can get an extra couple of hours of sleep, because it's going to cost me that memory and that relationship building. But this has made me figure out that I need to say no to things more.
And do you feel like you're wanting to make more of that transition as you finish off your junior year this year and move to be a senior?
Yes. Next year, I think I'm going to be a lot more selective of what I'm doing with my time. And although some of my positions may be changed or altered next year, the ones where I feel like growth isn't there anymore, I think might have to take the back burner.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel like with senior year coming up, and it's, I know, I'm a senior and I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about graduating, as you know. Do you feel like with your senior year coming up that all of your last time going to Pierre's Pub, your last duck day, your last of whatever, do you feel like that is going to really kick your FOMO into high gear?
Yes. Literally, yes. My plan was to come back for grad school. So for the past year, I was thinking, it's not going to be my last because I'm still going to be here. I don't really have to worry about getting that FOMO. But I've realized that that might not be the plan anymore, and plans can change. And that has been really scary to realize in the past couple of months, that kind of am thinking about going into higher ed after I graduate rather than going straight into grad school for my master's and just doing another internship. I think that maybe I want to get a little job experience before, which means that I am going to be facing my lasts of everything, which is kind of a really scary thought, because even now in this last month of school, I have so much FOMO because a lot of my best friends are seniors. You and the birthday girl we were talking about, everyone is about to graduate and leave, which means that all of my friends are going to be gone. Other than, obviously, I have my roommates who are my two best friends, but a lot of my very close friends who were there for everything aren't going to be here anymore and aren't just going to be a walk down the road. And it's a really scary feeling being that one little junior in the friend group.
Yeah. Do you have any last minute thoughts or anything that you want to say about your fear of missing out, or just in general about what we've been talking about?
I think a lot of people experience FOMO and are scared to say it and admit that they do, because it is not scary, but it's an anxiety-inducing thing. But there's nothing to be afraid of. It's once you admit that you have it, it's a lot easier to handle and a lot easier to kind of coordinate, because you can figure out for yourself, maybe I won't go and watch that movie tonight because I have this other thing going on, but I'll make sure that this weekend I'll get dinner with you. That was a really good realization for myself, that I don't have to be there in this exact plan as long as I make another one.
Thanks so much, Allie. After listening to your experiences, I wonder what the viewers might think. Maybe they can't come to terms with their FOMO. Maybe they can relate to our other two acronyms, JOMO or NOMO. Either way, they'll have to tune in to the next episode, where I talk about JOMO, the joy of missing out, and interview my communications professor about why he finds joy in being away from the chaotic life that comes with FOMO. This is your girl, Tori Richardson, and thank you for not missing out.